Are you seriously going to eat, you fat blibbity blabbity blob?
I mean, some of you might be like,
Continue.
why would I want to start this?
Sensitive. She's sensitive.
You are listening to the Tami Talks Unscripted Healing Podcast, where we share stories that are, you guessed it, unscripted.
That's the thing, this journey doesn't stop.
It doesn't really
right?
end. We have a general sense of the topic each episode, but really the whole point is just to show up and be authentic and let our inner child speak its truth. And I have continued to work through that story of constantly hearing, well, we don't want, got a hot dog on our hands. Yeah, guess what, Mr. Sabatsky, you do. So I'm so excited that you are here, and it is my hope that you hear yourself somewhere in the story so that way you can feel seen and heard as well. So let's start talking. Welcome to the Tami Talks Unscripted Healing Podcast. I am coming to you today with a little holiday-themed episode. For those of you that are watching, that is very clear. And that I am dressed up like a Christmas tree and a present. I have a bow on my head, and literally my outfit is that of a Christmas tree with bells and everything. So for those of you that are listening, I apologize that you only get half the experience, but that is your choice. You're always welcome to hop over on YouTube and get the full experience. But anyway, I just want to start off this podcast by saying how incredibly grateful I am for each and every one of you for pressing play this entire year, for almost 2 years now, which is crazy, coming up on our 2-year anniversary here in March. And it has been a wild ride, and especially this year. As many of you know, if you've been following along, it's been a year. And this podcast has been the one constant, the one steady, the one place that I can come to and share what's going on in hopes that it can help someone else, because truly that is so healing for me to know that whatever I'm going through isn't just for nothing, and that maybe, just maybe, it could be helping someone else out there. And so I can't even tell you how much that has helped me continue on this journey, knowing that there's someone out there like, ooh, I feel you. I feel seen. I feel heard. And so thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And today's episode really is about those gifts that aren't necessarily wrapped up in a pretty package, but that are all around us. And for me, that's all of you. The gift that you give me each and every week by pressing play, by sending messages and letting me know what resonates and how it's helped you reconnect with your inner child. Those gifts to me are priceless, and they mean so much. You have no idea. And I actually messaged my friend Zoe last week because I had given a gift to someone that had a picture of their inner child on it. And afterwards, I allowed myself to cry about it, but a really beautiful healing cry, and just in hopes that it helped this person maybe reconnect. And I just messaged her, I'm like, is it weird that I just cried and have a conversation with someone's inner child? And she's just like, no, that just is what makes you you, and that you care so much and so deeply. And I hope that you guys feel all of that, is that just the thought of your inner child feeling seen and heard from listening to this is such a gift to me. And I don't take that for granted. I don't take that lightly. I know that your time, your energy is a gift that you give me and this podcast and my inner child every single week when you press play. And so thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I am excited for what this next year will bring, because like I said many times, it is the year of the horse, and it is giddy up over here. And I can already feel that momentum growing and building, and making the announcement for the program I have coming out in February, which is called The Nourished Woman Within. And I've already been asked questions about men. Don't worry, at some point there will be something for you, because I care about your inner child too. And I know how much he wants and needs to be heard and seen as well. And so hopefully you still get that from the podcast, but to have a dedicated program for men, I'm still brewing on that one. So, but anyway, yes, that program is coming, The Nourished Woman Within. I'm so excited, because honestly, it is a lifetime in the making. It truly is. It is literally everything. I can say just the last 10 years, because that's when I really made a shift with my nutrition and healing my relationship with food and my body. And so I say 10 years ago, but knowing that really the foundation of this program is inner child work, it's truly a lifetime of work and healing that's being poured into this program. And it's everything I have ever wanted to create all of the ways that I wish I would have been seen and supported throughout my journey when I had no idea what was happening, what was going on, how to stick with it, how to stay consistent and not fall back into these old cycles of self-sabotage. I'm bringing all of that. And it's no joke that I took 3 years off from leading any programs because I needed to continue to do the work. And the way I've described it to so many women that I've already worked with is that I felt like at the end of 2022, when I did Nutrition for the Soul, because I felt like I had been guiding them this whole time and I had led them up to this fence and I was like, okay. And they're like, okay, now what? And I kind of stood there like, knowing that I needed to go deeper within my healing. And so I said, hold on, you guys hang here. You're safe here. Keep doing what you're doing. I gotta go in there and do this deeper healing so I can come back out and then bring you with me again. And I finally, 3 years later, I've emerged and I feel ready. I truly feel ready. I couldn't get there before this. I tried so many times, like, gosh, you should put together this program. You should bring Fiercely Focused and Nutrition for the Soul. And you should do all these things. And I wanted to do that. And I'm like, it's right there. I have these amazing programs, but something isn't clicking. Something isn't right. Something is still missing. And then all of a sudden it was like, boom, it was right there. And it is full speed ahead. I have amazing people helping me get this out to all of you. And so stay tuned for more on that program and really what it all entails. I have some really amazing women that are experts in their fields that are going to be coming into it as well. And so I don't have to do it alone. I don't have to be the expert in everything. I just get to hold space and be there for you and talk to your inner child and relay those messages, all those things. I'm so excited. And so I know as hard as this year and this journey has been, it has led me here to be able to now give this gift of the most amazing container and support that I could have even dreamt up. So I'm excited for that. But anyway, I want to get to today's episode and I want to keep it short and sweet because I know everyone's got tons of stuff going on unless you're listening to me while you're wrapping presents or something like that. But I know your time and energy is very, very precious this week. And so thank you again for pressing play. And so I will try to be respectful of your time and not just ramble on for an hour. But I wanted to talk about these gifts that are all around us. And again, that aren't necessarily wrapped up in this pretty little package. You know, it's the gifts that don't require a credit card or a list or a plan. It's just our presence. It's our presence, not just with our children, not just with our family, not just with our friends, but with ourselves. Our presence with ourselves and how connected we are to ourselves and what we're thinking and feeling and what we're doing and how we're honoring ourselves or not. It's just having this presence is truly the best present you can give yourself and you can give your inner child and you can give your own children. I know my kids are also home for the holidays and I'm like, oh boy, here I'm trying to roll out the biggest program I've ever rolled out in my entire life that has been a lifetime in the making. And I'm like, okay, how do you stay present, Tami? Even while recording this podcast, like, how do you stay present, Tami? Which, funny enough, is before I was going to hit record, they had to test the fire alarms. I'm like, what is the spiritual significance of that? And that sucker went on forever. I'm surprised I can't even hear right now. It's like, I guess the podcast can wait. So you guys are lucky I saved you from that because that was fun. You think these bells are annoying? Have an apartment fire alarm going off for about 10 minutes. It's great. That's great. But anyway, thinking about these gifts and how can we be truly present? Because man, I've already seen it at family things and you just see it all around is that we might be with our people, but we are so disconnected. We're on our phones and we're sitting right next to it. And actually that happened with my daughter and my niece in that they've been waiting to get together and connect, right? And as soon as they did, they were sitting right next to each other, but on their phones. And my sister Tanya was like, what are you two doing? No, you've waited all this time. And we're all guilty of this. We're all guilty of this. Because you might have been waiting for that coffee date with that friend, and all of a sudden you find yourself both on your phone or going out for dinner, or again, you've been with your family. And we have to pay attention to those moments where we're disconnecting from ourselves. Like, how can I be truly present? How can I put down this thing that is meant to distract me and disconnect me? And at the same time, it can also be a way that you do feel connected. And I will say the things that I share on social media help me. feel connected to people. And that's bringing up some stuff. Wow, I was not prepared for that. And that, I don't know, strangely enough, sadly enough, beautifully enough, is that some people find their people through those devices. They feel more connected to the people on the other side of those than the people that are sitting right next to them. And that's real. And that's what I want us to be aware of, is why am I feeling disconnected to this person sitting right next to me? Why am I afraid to open up and have a conversation? And again, that's when sometimes we see those childhood wounds just come on up for us, because we're around the people that may have played a part in that, or that we are so afraid of losing their love that we will fall right back into those old roles in order to not disrupt the norm. When really deep down, we do want deep, meaningful connection. And you may have found out through your journey that that may not be with the people that are sitting right next to you. They may not be the friends and family that you once relied on for that. And that's okay. And we can still find a way to try to be connected and try to tune in. But I realize, even with myself, that I've accepted how certain dynamics play out, and I'm okay with that. But I'm trying more and more to not completely disengage or not completely dissociate, because that was a way that I stayed safe before. And how can I allow myself to be in it and fully present? Because I was that person. I remember in years past, I would be on my phone, but I was connecting to the people that I felt connected to, even though I wasn't connected to necessarily the people that were literally sitting across the table from me. And so that's been a work in progress. And so again, without any judgment, without any shame, of just asking that, like, what if I just striked up a conversation? And what if I truly asked, how are you doing? Truly, how are you doing? Or what's going on in your life? Or maybe it's not even that. Maybe again, you've accepted that I don't need to have that deep, meaningful connection with so-and-so. But can I still be present enough to notice the laughter around me, or to notice the other fun interactions or other things that are happening? And so I can find the gift in that. Those gifts are all around us. And some may seem small, they may seem insignificant, but sometimes those are the ones that mean the most. For example, Arlo had my nephew's name and he loves pickles. And Arlo wanted to really do something meaningful for his gift. And so he drew a pickle. And as you guys know, the Abominable Snowman story from the week before, if you haven't, go listen to that episode, because that was a good one. And as I'm saying that, I'm reaching for what was originally a pickle that Arlo drew. And he got really frustrated because it looked more like a nugget or a biscuit, he said. And so he was like, it looks like a biscuit. And you got all mad about it. And I was like, well, Arlo, what if we turn it into a story about a biscuit who wants to be a pickle? So there, he turned it into a biscuit. So for those of you that are watching, there's Arlo's biscuit. So then he came back, he drew the pickle, and he recognized himself that when he was frustrated, he couldn't draw. He was blocked. He couldn't tap into his creative gifts, right? So like, okay, let's step away. Let's come back to it when Hulk is not trying to draw. And he did. He came back to it. What do you know? Hey, Mom, look, there's my pickle. Just boom. Like, so again, another life lesson is that don't try to do anything when you're dysregulated. It doesn't work. You got to be able to come back to baseline, calm yourself down, and then do the thing. But anyway, so he drew this amazing pickle. We put it in a frame, gave it to my nephew, and it was like the gift of the day because it was something special and it was meaningful and it was adorable and all these things. And it's just that little bit of time and effort and energy. You know, we've talked about love languages on here. And when we think about giving and receiving, it isn't really about the gift itself. It's knowing that, wow, he took time to draw that. And actually, my nephew doesn't even know how much energy and emotional regulation went into that picture. There was actually more of a story to that, but you could just tell, right? Versus then just giving the things and checking the boxes. And I think sometimes the holidays can be hard because when it comes to gift giving, Sometimes we get something and it kind of feels like a box checked, or do we even really know me? Like, why would you get that? Or whatever it is. But whatever the case is, like, okay, all that set aside, because what you focus on, you find, right? And so let's focus on the gifts in this season, the gifts that are all around us, the gifts with our children, and having this extra quality time with them. Like, how can we make that special? And again, keep in mind, I think sometimes when we think about truly seeing our kids and truly hearing them and all these things, it can feel overwhelming as a parent because you're doing 8,000 other things, right? But it just takes a little bit of intentionality. They don't need your time and attention all day, every day, 24/7. But they do need these little pockets where you are fully engaged with them. And so making sure that over this holiday time that you're being really intentional with your presence, because it is the best present that you can give your kids. And actually, if you guys remember Dr. Alvin Thomas, who was on the podcast, that was such a great episode. So if you have not listened to that one and you're still wrapping presents or cooking or whatever, please go back and press play on that episode. It was so good. It was seriously like a masterclass. But he sent me a reel and it was, oh my gosh, the sweetest thing. It was this little boy. He was probably 2, maybe 3. And his dad was sitting down. I couldn't hear all of it, but I was trying to read the text and everything. And I didn't need to because you could just feel the emotion. But it was this little boy. He was just crying happy tears because his dad was playing with him. His dad was engaging with him. His dad was giving him his quality time. And the little boy just like, I just have happy tears. I'm so happy you're playing with me. And I was like, ooh, ooh. You know, sometimes it's like, yeah, I've got this and I got this and I got this and I got that to do. But how many of you remember specific presents that you got as a kid versus the energy around it, versus the emotion around it, versus the experience around it? Oftentimes it's that. I've talked a couple times on here about how I always would get the big box and I would sleep in the box and I would make it this whole thing. That's what I remember. I don't remember what was in the box. I do remember my gold vanity. That thing was badass. And now, like, I don't remember any specific gifts that I got because sometimes they're just things, right? We're just checking the box. And as a parent, like, we just want them to have things to open. But we forgot, like, what the true gift is in this, and that it is our quality time, that it is our attention, that it is helping them feel seen. And so, you know, when they want to come and show you all of their gifts and they want you to, you know, help them figure out how to play this, do that. Even though you've got a million other things that you could do, you could probably be picking up wrapping paper or whatever it is, like just allow yourself to give them your presence. Give them your presence and find a way to make it fun, make it memorable. I don't know if I've shared this yet, but there was a Valentine's Day when we first moved into this apartment and I got the kids each something. And whatever Arlo's gift came in was in styrofoam. I don't remember what his gift was, but there was styrofoam. And those two started ripping the styrofoam apart. And pretty soon it's going to be in these tiny little balls of styrofoam, right? And I remember initially I was like, guys, no. And then I was like, no, Tammy, let them play. Let them play. Let them have fun. You can always clean this up. And let me tell you, I cleaned that up for a good month where I would find styrofoam everywhere. But you know what? To this day, almost 3 years later, which is insane to me that we've been here this long, almost 3 years later, they don't remember what I gave them for Valentine's Day. They remember the styrofoam. They remember the mess it made. They remember how much fun it was and that they couldn't believe that I let them do that. That is what they talk about. So less energy on the gift itself versus the experience around the gift. This is the same thing with childhood wounds. It's not necessarily the thing that happened. It's the emotional support around it that leaves the lasting imprint. We can have things that happen around us, but when you can feel loved and supported and nurtured and seen and heard and whatever your experience is, there's a lot of healing that can come from that. And so thinking about that now as well, like how can we make memorable moments instead of childhood wounds all the time, right? This is a great way to do that. Is to just be fully present and make the moment special. So you're making Christmas cookies. I have a friend, actually I mentioned her on last week's podcast, my friend Mackenzie. They get into like frosting sprinkle fight every year when they make their Christmas cookies. Do you think your kids are going to remember that someday? Absolutely. Is that a moment and a memory they create every year, and they know that mom loved us regardless, even though we trashed the house and full of sprinkles. Yes. And that she also allowed herself to tap into her inner child and just have fun and just let loose and just make a mess. Yeah. The house can always be cleaned up. And you can even make a deal. Be like, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. But guess who's helping afterwards? All right. Deal? Deal. Okay. Because I know we got some people out there that are got to have your things just so and everything's got to be just clean. And again, that's probably because of a childhood experience. And I know this for myself, the way I grew up, in that when things get messy and cluttered, it absolutely triggers a part of me. I can certainly fall into those habits and behaviors. And that's when I can feel my energy is also very chaotic and cluttered and all these things. Like, nope. And so having a clean space and an organized space is very important to me, but it is a constant battle because that is not how I was conditioned. That is not how I grew up necessarily. And so that takes intentional effort. But know that sometimes that for those kids who are growing up in a very neat and tidy home, allowing them to just play and get messy and tear it up and make forts and all these things, whoo, that'll create a lasting memory. Be like, whoa, I can't believe mom or dad let us do that. Right? So think about how can we make these next few weeks, this holiday season, and just any time moving forward, how can we make it special? You know, I'm a single mom of 2 and I'm an entrepreneur. And so having a million gifts under the tree just isn't something I can do this year. And I'm okay with that. And I know my kids are too, but I'm thinking about how can I make this holiday super special and memorable by doing other things, by going out and driving around to the lights, but making that special, finding things that don't cost a lot of money, but making them really special and things that they'll remember, making it really fun. I can do that because sometimes we limit ourselves like, well, I don't have the money for this, so Christmas is going to suck this year, guys. No, your kids may not have any idea if that's a position that you're in. And it's okay if they do and be like, hey, you know, we have to be mindful of this. That's certainly fine too. We don't need to hide that stuff and tiptoe an eggshell around it, but you also don't need to let them see your bank statements either. There's a balance there, right? But things that you can do to make it where they don't even notice and they don't even care because it was the moment and the fun and the energy and the memories that you created while doing it. So I encourage you, I was going to say challenge, but no, I'll encourage you to think of a way to make this holiday season memorable. Make it memorable and share that. I would love for you to share that, whether it's on this podcast or in a message. Maybe you have a tradition already that you want to share, and maybe it will give someone else an idea of like, oh my gosh, that would be super fun. I want to do that. So that's kind of with your kids and that presence. But I want to come back to the presence with us because this is such a hard time of year to stay connected to ourselves because there is so much going on. And I've mentioned this in other podcasts, is that your inner child needs you to stay present, needs you to stay committed and consistent to taking care of you. Because if you all of a sudden forget all of your own self-care and you stop moving, you stop moving, you forget to drink your water or whatever it is, and you're just going for everyone else, and your inner child's over here like, yo, remember me? Kind of feeling abandoned right now. And this is not the season to do that. They need you to be tuned in. They need you to know like, hey, I'm kind of feeling triggered right now. Can you give me a little extra love and nurturing? And I actually had this conversation with someone. They had mentioned that this is a really hard time of year and trying to kind of pinpoint why. And we were able to identify that it was truly when she was younger, had lost someone very, very important to her, someone that helped her feel seen and heard and loved unconditionally, passed a few months before that. And so Christmas was really hard that year. But all of a sudden was noticing like, why am I gaining weight? Even though I know this is a hard time of year, like, why can't I stop it? And it's because deep down, you're now abandoning yourself. It felt like abandonment. I didn't have the emotional support around this event and to know how hard Christmas was now without this person there. But if I try to numb those feelings, I should say, if your ego tries to numb that sadness and that grief that you need to feel, if it tries to numb it, now your inner child feels abandoned, which is triggering that abandonment wound. See how that all is like, oh my gosh. So all I need to do is truly connect with myself and make sure that I'm the one nurturing myself. I'm the one providing support for myself. I'm the one who's here to feel these feelings, to allow myself to cry. Yes. Yes. That is the lesson. That is the gift. That is what your inner child has been asking for. So if you have found that this time of year is always hard, it's encouraging you. It's like, okay, then come within. The gift is in here. Let me tell you that I just need you to love and support me and to not abandon me every holiday season. Just because things get busy and it's inconvenient. And so for me, like that's getting up super early to get to the gym, because if I don't do that, a part of me feels like, you didn't check in on myself. I try to do those things sometimes, so I'm not trying to navigate it around and inconvenience anyone else. But at the same time, it's because I know that they're non-negotiables for me. So I ain't taking chances, right? So think about those things. Like they're so important to you. Like if I just do this 1 or 2 things over this holiday season, I can stay locked into me. And again, that might be I'm taking a shower in the morning and be like, I'm just going to check in with myself. Like, hey, how are you feeling today? Any emotions that you need to release today? Or maybe you're doing it at the end of the day. Or maybe it's just on a car ride. Can you just check in? Just check in and how you're feeling. And whatever comes up, allow yourself to feel it and move through it. Because same thing, just like your kids want your presence, your inner child wants your presence. And that is literally the best gift you can give yourself, is to be fully present with yourself in your experience. And yeah, that's why so many of us don't have a lot of memories of our childhood, because we weren't present. Because we were worried about everyone else. We were juggling everyone else's emotions and walking on eggshells. Now it's asking you to be like, no, not this time. This time you deserve to be fully present in your experience. You're not taking on anyone else's stuff. That gift is on them. Your gift is to not filter everyone else's energy and transmute it for them and make them feel better just by you simply being there while you are now drained and exhausted. You have to plug into you and make sure that you are filling back up your cup if you play that role in your family and your friend group. Because I know a lot of you listening do. And so how can you make sure that you are not taking on other people's stuff? That is not a gift that you need to give. It's taking on everyone else's emotions, taking on everyone else's problems, everyone else's responsibilities, and doing everything for everyone. No. This is about you protecting your energy as a gift to yourself and knowing that when you protect your energy and we put back some ownership onto these other people, it is a gift for them, believe it or not, whether they realize it or not, because they're going to have to learn how to navigate filtering their own emotions, clearing their own energy, shifting their own energy, all those things. It shouldn't be up to you to do that. And that could also be the best gift that you give yourself this holiday season, is that, you know what? I am no longer taking on other people's energy. Merry Christmas to me. Only took me 43 years to figure that one out. Whoo, man, does it feel good. But then I also want you to start to think about, I know you've mentioned on here a couple times, Tami, about this gift that God has given me. Yeah, every single one of you has something planted inside of you. Just like last week's episode in that invitation, you've been getting invitations. God has been pulling up that car alongside of you, rolling down that window like, hey, you getting in? This is what you asked for. And you're like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good with this 9 to 5 or whatever it is. But now is an opportunity to be like, okay, I'm actually open and curious to see what that gift is under the tree this year. That gift has been sitting there your entire life. Your entire life, that gift has been sitting there. As a kid, that kid is going up and grabbing that gift. Is like, who is this for? Is this for me? Is this for me? Right? That kid would have been excited to open that gift. But here we are as adults, like, I see it, but that can't be for me. I'm not worthy of that gift. I don't really think I could do that. That gift is there for you for a reason. And again, God's just watching you, like, are you going to open that? I gave you this gift. You were born with this gift. I've just been waiting for you to find it. And again, I think back to my buddy Corby's episode from very early on. Again, if you haven't listened to that episode, go watch it. That was when he had a terrible mic situation, but his story is so good. He found the gift in a very, very painful package. And how your gift is wrapped up, I don't know. Mine has certainly not been all pretty and razzle dazzle bows. It's felt like barbed wire and electric fences and all of those things to get to this freaking gift of being able to share this message in this inner child mission. It's been a painful gift to unwrap, but I'm so glad I've done that. And I'll continue to unwrap it. It continues to unfold. But the more I unwrap it, the more I get excited to see what's in there. And the more I'm willing to go through some of those painful layers to get there. Because I know that if God gave me a very special and unique gift, why wouldn't I want to go find it? Oh, because ego's like all the fear and all the doubt and all the worry and all the whatevers. Yeah, that's your ego. Your inner child ran up to that tree, grabbed that present, opened it up and said, let's play. But ego came, took the box, closed it back up, and then hid it. It hid that. So if your gift isn't right there in front of you under the tree, your job is to go find it. Where did your ego hide it? Where did it put it? Did it hide it under all that fear of rejection, that fear of being seen, the fear of the unknown, the fear of not having the stable career or the stable marriage or whatever it was? We're always looking for stable and control and all of these things, and that's all ego. But finding that gift takes some faith to be like, I know it's there. I know, I do believe that. I do trust that God gave me something special. Why wouldn't he? Why would he make everyone just ordinary, right? And maybe, again, who knows if you're supposed to find it in this lifetime. But I don't know about you, but if there's any chance for finding that treasure, damn it, I'm finding it in this lifetime and I'm using it. But your ego might have took it from the tree and hid it. And so you, with your inner child, need to be like, let's go find it. It's like that little kid who's like, I know they hid the present somewhere. I know they hid them and I'm going to go find them. Right? That's the energy I need you to approach this with. I need you to get that little mischievous, like, we're going to find that. I know they tried to hide it, but we're going to find it. That's what I want you to come at this with, your gifts with, that kind of energy, the determination of a little kid who is about to bust their parents, knowing that, hey, Santa, and God's like, I gave you that gift. And if it ain't right there under the tree, like you woke up and you were a piano prodigy, or you're this mathematician at age 5, if it's not right there under the tree, because for some people it is, like, that would have been great. That would have been awesome to just... And you see it all the time, but is anyone denying those kids gifts? No. No, we sit back and we appreciate them and like, wow. But it doesn't mean that you don't have a gift. Like I said, maybe it's that your ego hid it. It hid it on you somewhere, thinking it was going to keep you safe. Because if you opened it up, it could open you up to a world of criticism, a world of unknowns, a world of uncertainty, a world of judgment and fear and projections and all these things, right? It could open you up to a lot of scary things. But if we stay stuck in fear, we're missing out, and that it could also open you up to a million possibilities and the most amazing life you could ever hope for and dream of. And that you could actually bless people with that gift. But ego wants to keep you stuck in all the things like, well, if it goes wrong, that's where we're going to focus. If things don't go right and people don't love your gift. And so we don't even think about what's the best case scenario if I open that gift and use it. What is the best case scenario? Let me put my energy towards that. If I open that gift, it's kind of like, you think about Ariel and her voice, and she gets that voice back like, oh, like that's how I want you to feel when I open that box. Like, oh. And to get excited about that, like, what if I then fully embody that and I find my voice again? I find that gift. I find that, oh my gosh, I forgot how much I love to play the piano. Like, why haven't I gotten back into that? Or I used to love to draw. Why haven't I gotten into that? And maybe I don't need to up and quit my career, but I can start drawing again. I can bring back that gift and see how it unfolds. There was a woman, actually, she used to be at Arlo's little summer school thing, and she left there over this last year. And maybe I should have her on the podcast sometime. But she started her own little book thing. I don't even know what to necessarily call it, little bookstore, but she does all these cool little gifts with books and book fairs and all this stuff because that was her thing and that's what lit her up. But she had to take a big step away from the stable career, the stable paycheck, but that was also draining her and her soul because it wasn't what was lighting her up. Was she really great with kids? Yes. Was it sad that she left? Yes. But to know that she was now doing something that you can see that she's so passionate about and you can see her creativity in everything that she does. Oh, and now she's blessing so many other people with this gift. And it's like this beautiful give and receive, right? She gets to give this gift, but she's receiving all this love back because she's watching people enjoy her creation through what she's doing with books. And it's just like, you never know. You never know. But if there is that thing, it's like, I have always been interested in that. I'm always drawn to this thing. Get curious about that and ask your inner child, what is it about this thing that you keep drawing me back to? Because again, maybe you have blocked it. Maybe your ego buried it real deep in that subconscious. It hid it way in the back closet. It's like your parents are really good gift hiders, but your ego did it this time. And so maybe you need to ask and try to find those little clues. But what is it? What am I really good at? And so I want you to get curious and go look for that gift. It's okay that it's not right there. I'm pointing because my Christmas tree is right in front of me. It may not be right there and obvious, but it is hidden somewhere in your body, in your heart, in your soul. Please don't question that. Please don't question that. This is where your faith comes in. And that what if I went and found it? What could that mean for my life? What could that mean for the people around me? And the endless possibilities and opportunities that could come from opening that present. Because our gifts weren't just meant for us. It does me no good to sit here and share my gift and my voice to myself and playing this back. My experience is to be able to share for you, my voice, this podcast is being able to give this gift to you. So hopefully you can feel seen and heard again through the stories, whether they're my stories or guest stories or Arlo stories, whatever it is. And actually my software that I do the editing through, it did a little 2025 recap, kind of like Spotify does with all the things that you listen to. And it brought up two things. It said, one thing that you're really good at, and it was making people laugh, and it was mostly myself. And then with my guests, and it had all these little clips of me laughing. Then it also said, what was your most used word in 2025? And it was Arlo. And it was just like, Arlo, 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 Arlo. I'll see if I can share it on this. But it was really funny. And I was like, that's because like he teaches me so many things. And so again, I think going back to the beginning of this and how much our kids are just a gift in who they are and what they teach us. But knowing that same thing is within you, within your inner child, that he or she has so much to teach you and to show you, to help you come back to you. So I will wrap it up in that remember that your greatest gifts are not necessarily under the tree. They may be hidden for you to go find. They may already be living in your home, and they are certainly already living within you. So you don't have to add more this season. Just thinking of how can I be more present. So on that note, I want to again wish you all happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all the things, whatever you celebrate, and just ask once again that you give yourself and your kids the gift of your presence this holiday season. So thank you all again for tuning in and giving me the gift of your time and your energy. I appreciate you. Until next week, bye.